How do you take an unattractive courtyard and turn it into a beautiful, inviting entryway? That's the challenge facing our landscape designers on today's Landscapers Challenge. Who will come up with a plan that livens up the space and blends it with the architecture of the house? The answers are coming up next on Landscapers Challenge. Welcome to Landscapers Challenge. I'm Marianne Curran. Less than a year ago, Sue Lee Go and her husband Ron Meyer bought a house for themselves and their 6-year-old daughter Alexandria that had the style and the tranquil setting they were looking for. They loved the contemporary look of the home as well as the pool in the backyard. Now it's time for the couple to face the important task of landscaping their front courtyard. They wanted to make a good first impression and provide a scenic view through the home's windows. Let's meet our homeowners now.
Our house was built in the 60s, and the original owner was a builder, so he kind of specified according to his needs. We like the open space, the privacy, and the high ceilings.
We have a lot of Chinese antiques, and we've combined that with some classical and neoclassical look.
The couple remodeled when they moved in, creating a refined and elegant interior. But the front yard suffered as a result of the construction.
So the greenery that was there was pretty much destroyed.
What's left is just not appealing aesthetically. We'd like the style to be a little bit traditional, but we don't like the well-manicured look. We like a lot of greenery, we like a lot of different shades and colors, and we want something to be blooming at each season.
We can see the courtyard from both the dining room and the foyer, so we want it to be a very pretty look from inside the house as well as outside.
We're very excited to have the new courtyard, and we're hoping that it'll be done in one weekend.
The challenge facing Sue Lee and Ron is to make a neglected garden spring to life.
Here we are at our courtyard, and as you can see, there's not much of anything. There's a big patch of dirt over here by the dining room window, and the azaleas and some of the plants are overgrown. So we would like a fresh look and new plants and flowers.
The iron trellis on the column, we're not sure if it works or not. We don't know whether we want to take it down or soften it up or what we should do with it. Basically, this area is a problem and we need help.
This is the far side of our courtyard, and as you can see, the Italian cypress is half dead. We would like that to be taken out. The ivy also needs work. It's overgrown, and we would like to have that either taken out or cut back and be replaced maybe with another ground cover with flowers.
We think this hillside would be a great place for a water feature of some sort, a fountain or a water sculpture. This hillside is directly across from the dining room window, and we think it'll be very pretty during the day and at night to look out and see a fountain that's lit during the night with water flowing over.
Finally, the couple would like the first impression of their home to be the very best impression.
This is the entry to our courtyard. It's the first thing people see when they come in, so we want it to be pretty. It now has jasmine and some flowering plants, but they're not very pretty.
And also this tree looks pretty diseased. We would like to be taken out and have something else really nice put in. We like the wall sculpture, and we would like to keep that.
Sue Lee and Ron's courtyard presents quite a challenge. First, they want to improve the area near the front door, including the empty flower beds. Next, they want to remove the Italian cypress trees as well as the overgrowth of ivy on the hillside. They'd like to place a water feature on the hillside that would be visible from inside the house. Finally, the garden area near the front gate needs to be freshly landscaped. Sue Lee and Ron have a budget of $15,000 for labor and materials. 3 designers have accepted their challenge. Let's meet them now. Our first designer is Deborah Ritchie of Deborah Ritchie Landscape Architect. She has been involved with both residential and commercial projects for 15 years.
As designers, we all have ideas, but in order to realize the owner's ideas and make those dreams come true, I think really makes a better designer. Sue Lee and Ron's property is a very interesting property. The biggest challenge really is the architecture of the entry has 15-foot walls, so you really can feel like you're walking through a tunnel, and so we want to get rid of that feeling so you actually are more invited into the entrance.
Next up is Corrado Giovannoni from Contadino Landscape Design. Born in Florence, Italy, he studied horticulture and has been involved in residential design for 5 years.
I think my background, being from Europe, from Italy, gave me a different approach to the design. I always try to incorporate some touches of what I feel is like European flavor. The feeling that I'm trying to give to Sully and Ron's place, it's peaceful and serene and very elegant.
Our final challenger is Jane Srebnick of Jane Srebnick Landscape Design. Born in London, she studied ornamental horticulture and has worked on residential projects for 15 years.
A good landscaper needs, I think, above all, vision and patience and the ability to stay calm. My real love is English gardens, but it's not particularly practical in all cases. Sully and Ron's house, the biggest challenge, I think, is they don't want it to be too formal. And I would like it to be lush and green and something fabulous to look at, but I don't want it to become too wild and out of hand because I don't think that's what they want.
3 designers, 3 chances to give Sue Lee and Ron their dream courtyard. Who will come up with the ideal plan for creating an outdoor space that the couple and their visitors will appreciate? The designers make their presentations next. Welcome back to Landscapers Challenge. Husband and wife Ron Meyer and Sue Lee Go need to take their neglected front yard and turn it into an inviting entry worthy of their home. They've challenged 3 designers to transform the yard into one that's welcoming for themselves and their visitors. Each designer has had one introductory meeting with the couple to find out more about the project, their style, and their goals. Now, while Ron is at work, it's time for the designers to present their ideas to Sue Lee. Our first challenger, Deborah Ritchie, has a plan that includes a stone fountain and a distinctive look for the front door.
Sue Lee, I'd like to present to you a design today that I feel is really one that is going to create more of a warm, welcoming entrance with lush plantings that are going to give you year-round color with low maintenance.
Near the entry gate, Deborah would enhance the wall with bright climbing roses.
I've created flowering color on the wall, framing your existing picture with a lot of planting below that, possibly camellias, and then another lower ground cover below that, and framing with azaleas and fuchsias. And looking at the panels, keeping those very lush and green with pandaria. And pandaria is a very soft green vine.
For the water feature, Deborah has designed a terraced waterfall above a shallow reflecting pool.
I'm suggesting using natural stone, such as a bluestone, that is a very tough, rich stone, and it does match a lot of the colors that you have out at your back pool.
Sago palms would frame the pool, while layers of perennials such as flowering fuchsias and jasmine would adorn the hillside. Finally, Deborah has suggestions for adding ornamentation to the front door.
As you come into here, I do have pots located either side of the door, and that would really be your only place that I would suggest putting annuals. And that is so that you can have more vivid color at the door without having to have lots of other annual plantings. So I think that my design will incorporate all of the ideas that you and your husband had wished for, and I've enjoyed working with you.
Thank you. Thank you for your design. Great
Thank you.
design.
Thank you.
Next up is landscape designer Corrado Giovannoni. He intends to provide year-round color and a fountain with a European flair.
So this is the garden I created for you and your family. It has a feeling that complements the existing framework of your home, and I created for your dining room window a view with a unique fountain surrounded by lush planting.
Once inside the entry gate, visitors would be greeted by a floral palette ranging from the purple blooms of 2 princess flower bushes to pink iceberg roses and lavender. Star jasmine would perfume the air, and a floss silk tree would add color in the fall. In the west corner of the courtyard, Carrata would plant daylilies and begonias. Lush plantings would surround a new fountain with a sculpture effect, similar to the one on the courtyard wall.
There are 2 basins, the lower basin and the upper basin. The back wall here will be made surfaced by these Beijing green flagstones. And at the center, I would like to use a bas relief, something similar to this. And at the side of the fountains, I'm using this water jar, and they'll be holding ferns. This part of the wall can actually be used as a bench because it's just the right height, so you can sit there and enjoy your garden and enjoy the fountain.
At the bottom of the lower pool, to further enhance the reflection of the water, Carrata would use tumbled sea glass in blue and turquoise. And finally, he has ideas for the iron columns.
I'll use 2 different vines. One is deciduous, it's a clematis, and it flowers in summer. And the other one is a purple trumpet vine, and it's evergreen, so there will always be leaves. So, Suli, in my design, I incorporated, I hope, everything that was in your wish list, and I hope you like it.
Thank you so much for your design. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Today's final designer is Jane Srebnick. Her plan includes a patio area and an understated water feature.
Suli, for your courtyard, we're going to keep it pretty much the same shape, but enhance it with lots of very strong foliage plantings, scented flowers all through the seasons. We'll give you a little water feature for the sound and a seating area, which you don't have right now. This is an added feature, this little patio here, because I remember you said you like to come and sit out here because the rest of the house is so hot at the other side. And I hope it will give you a nice tranquil spot where you can enjoy the cool evenings.
A new focal point would be a very pristine fountain.
The water feature is going to be simply a very simple bowl, and the spout will look as though it's coming out of the plants. So it's sort of suspended in the air, and it will drop into the bowl and recycle. We'll put some wonderful specimen plants, maybe some Japanese maples, which will be featured from the dining room, and then some very subtle uplighting for the evenings.
Jane has chosen a wide variety of plants to suit the sunny and shady areas of the yard.
This is just a small selection of what would mostly be on the hillside. They all work wonderfully in the shade, and this is a shady area. We have agapanthus, fuchsias, and some lovely autumn fern, which has this lovely sort of bronze color. And this is the abutilon, the Chinese lantern. And this would be the ornamental plum tree leaf. So the bronze will break up the greens a little bit, as well as the variegated plants.
The sunny areas of the yard will be spotted with the purple fern leaves of the Baileana acacia tree, camellias, and scented with jasmine. As a final touch, ornamental pots will be placed by the front door and on the new patio.
These are my thoughts on your courtyard. I hope you will enjoy the tranquil, cool evenings there.
Well, thank you so much, Jane, for the wonderful design.
You're welcome.
3 designers have now presented their plans for Sue Lee and Ron's yard. Who will be chosen to bring their ideas to life? The decision is next when Landscapers Challenge returns.
I'm really pleased with all the designs, and it's amazing how different they all are. Ron and I are going to have a tough decision to make.
Welcome back to Landscapers Challenge. I'm Marianne Curran. It's been a week since husband and wife Ron Meyer and Sue Lee Go heard from 3 different designers about their courtyard. Now it's time for them to decide which plan will transform the space into an inviting entryway that looks, smells, and sounds beautiful. Will Deborah Ritchie's concept featuring an angular stone fountain win them over? Or will it be Corrado Giovannoni's plan with a European-style fountain? Maybe Jane Srebnick's design for a fountain with a simple bowl will be the one. Who did they choose? It's time to find out now.
All the 3 designers were very good and very different, so we have a really tough time deciding. But eventually we went with Deborah because she utilizes the hillside more, and also we like the look of the fountain.
It was a tough choice between the 3, but Deborah really combined the use of stone with a unique and interesting architectural element in the fountain that makes it look not just traditional, and I think it's a great idea.
I've just found out that Sue Lee and Ron have chosen me to be their designer, and I'm really excited to get started. The design that I've done for them I think is going to be just perfect. The colors and the stone and the water feature is going to be just beautiful.
Work on the courtyard landscaping begins right away. Chainsaws remove trees branch by branch near the house and on the hillside. Before long, the couple's vision for a welcoming entry to their new home will materialize. While Ron is at work, Deborah takes Suli to an arboretum to find inspiration. They start by looking for just the right climbing rows. The first specimen is called Altissimo.
I wanted to use the colors of maybe a red or a pink because your wall is white. And I would love to use an arching effect, and that reflects your doorway with the arch. It actually is a fragrant rose if you'd like to smell that.
But I think I like the multiple petal better.
Okay, well, let's go look at some other roses I think you might like. This is called Aloha. It's a beautiful pink with more of a multi-petaled flower. It has a great glossy leaf.
And smells wonderful.
Yes.
It's much more fragrant than the last one.
Yes, it is. Well, before we make a decision, let's go look at another one real quick. This is another wonderful climber. It's called the Don Juan. It's very disease resistant. The new foliage is going to be bronze, so that's going to look really pretty against your front entry wall.
Does this bloom all year round?
It'll really have a wonderful profusion of blooms in the early spring and then bloom throughout the summer, and then again really pick up the blooms again in the fall when it cools down.
It also smells really great.
Yes.
I love the fragrance, the color, and I think this is it.
Great.
Back at the house, the new fountain is taking shape, and colorful plants are hauled in to dramatically transform the hillside. Will Sue Lee and Ron's courtyard live up to their expectations? Stay tuned to see the completed project. It's coming up next on Landscapers Challenge. For questions or comments, please write to Landscapers Challenge, care of HGTV, Box 50970, Knoxville, Tennessee 37950. Be sure to include the episode number and your daytime phone number. Welcome back to Landscapers Challenge. It's been several weeks since Sue Lee Go and Ron Meyer asked Deborah Ritchie to implement her plan for their courtyard. Does the new space have the inviting look that they were hoping for? Let's hear from the couple now.
Before, walking through the courtyard was sort of depressing. Now I look at it when I drive in, and whenever I walk by the foyer or the dining room, I always look over to see the fountain and the plants, and it's really very nice.
I really love the way the design came out. The fountain is just beautiful.
I've just arrived at Sue Lee and Ron's garden, and the plants have been growing, and I'm here to see how they like it.
Ron and Sue Lee are thrilled with the way their courtyard went from a neglected, damaged garden to a beautiful first impression of their home.
How do you like your garden?
We love it. It's such a wonderful change from what we had before.
I think the fountain turned out really wonderful. I think our choice with the bluestone was perfect for your house.
I think it's also very original. It's both artistic and functional at the same time.
I know you, Ron, you really love the roses. That's a carpet rose, and they will bloom throughout the year.
And do they spread?
And they will spread.
Oh, that's great.
On the hillside and the garden below it, Deborah added color and fragrance with Waverly salvia, zinnias, and angel's trumpet.
I really like the princess plant. I like the purple flowers, but most of all, the texture of the leaves. It's beautiful. It's very velvety, and I also like the color of that green.
Sprawling vines of pandaria will bloom with white and pink flowers and grow to cover portions of the front wall. Star jasmine vines soften the look of the iron columns.
I like it because I wanted to keep the ironwork since it matches the iron in the front gate. But the idea now of coming through the front gate and having the fragrance of the flowers and seeing the white flowers, I just think it's a great idea.
Also, I use the jasmine because it complements with the jasmine that will be cascading over the wall, and it doesn't take away or distract from the water feature with being too showy.
Just inside the entry gate are two elegant pots filled with lobelia and variegated ivy on the bottom and fuchsia above.
The fuchsia is really nice.
We've actually used another variety of fuchsia in the landscape that's a little more of a natural type of fuchsia, and then having a more ornamental fuchsia in the pots. Also, I think the entry wall has turned out quite nicely.
I think my favorite thing is the horse sculpture with the roses around it. When I come home at night and the light is shining on both of them, it's just really, really pretty through the gate, and it really frames the entrance as well. I really just love it.
Of course, that's my favorite plant, the Don Juan rose.
Great, it is a beautiful rose.
Deborah, we want to just thank you so much for your great ideas.
The courtyard is beautiful, it's very functional, but best of all, it's very easy to maintain as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, I really appreciated working on it.
Landscape architect Deborah Ritchie took Sully and Ron's challenges and created an appealing courtyard that perfectly suits their home. Thanks for joining us on Landscapers Challenge. We'll see you next time when we put 3 more landscape designers to the test. I'm Marianne Curran.